Any response from Mukumu boys? Any response from Mukumu boys?
We are almost. We are almost.
Almost. Approximately how much time should we give you? Because we've been here for 30 minutes plus.
Just give us 4 minutes. We shall be through.
Okay.
Is the Bluetooth function? Jaribu kuweka kamera. Jaribu kuweka mic tuone kama weka mic on. Hiyo najua ndio tunaonyesha hapa. Weka mic on.
I believe the 4 minutes you asked for are now done. So I hope you're ready. I need a green light from Mukumu boys so that we begin. Are you guys ready? Hello? Hello, we are so much behind time, so we need an urgent answer from Mukumu. Are you guys ready? Okay. Mukumu, are you there? Mukumu boys? Are you there? Mukumu boys, are you there? I need a verbal answer because it is a debate session. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Mukumu boys, can you hear me? I'm having trouble getting what you're saying. Can you hear me? St. Thomas girls, can you hear Mukumu boys? I need a verbal answer because we are going to debate, and if we cannot get what you're saying, it will be very difficult for us to run the debate. Mukumu boys, are you getting what I'm saying? Mukumu boys, side, because we cannot get anything from you. Mukumu boys, are you getting what I'm saying? Mukumu boys, you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. We can't hear you. Can you hear what I'm saying? Yes. Can you get me clearly?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. St. Thomas, can you get Mukumu boys? St. Thomas, are you getting what Mukumu boys are saying? Have you heard them? Have you? Okay. So down to the rules, I want us to be very, 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 very strict. I will be very strict on time. I will be your judge for the day, and I want us to do as fast as possible, strict to the rules. We have 3 speakers per team. Each speaker will be having 5 minutes. The first 2 minutes are protected. The third and fourth minute are not protected. The last minute is protected. I will be very strict on time. Your 5 minutes, you're supposed to utilize them, outline your points, and at the end, we will have reply speeches from each team for 2 minutes each. So I want us to pick the sides, and also consider muting your mic if you're not speaking. If it is your turn to speak, you will unmute, and the people listening to you will mute. And if their time to speak comes, they will unmute and listen and speak. So which side is proposing? Mukumu boys, are you proposing or opposing?
We are proposing.
Thank you. Kindly, I reiterate that when you're not speaking, kindly mute your microphone. When it's not your turn to speak, kindly mute your microphone. We go to the second speaker from Mukumu. That is the second proposer.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once Albert Einstein said, "This life is not worthy living if you're not living."
A second. Kindly let us use one channel. The account under Mukumu Boys should be muted if you're using the one under Calvin. Let us mute this account under Mukumu Boys. It is bringing a lot of echoes. The account under Mukumu Boys should be muted. The account. Okay, now let us use the one under the name Calvin and continue.
Einstein said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Once Albert Einstein said that this life is not worthy living if you're not living it for someone else. Tell me how, by putting these barriers, restrictions to travel from one country to another, will bring this cohesion and peace. So how will we live as brothers? How will we live as sisters? On to my first point. By doing so, I believe when we are proposing this motion that this house is, in the opinion that East African citizens should be allowed to move from one country to another without restrictions. One, this will foster peace and cohesion. How? It will foster regional integration. Maybe as a student, I may be able to travel to Tanzania, maybe to exchange ideas. There is an idea that a Tanzanian knows and I don't know. A Ugandan knows, I don't know. So this will help me as a student have easy access, because if you have traveled to outside countries, then you know that there is always that time that we always use at the immigration center. Please look onto this issue, look onto it, and try to join us and propose this motion. On to my second point. May happen. Maybe I have a child in Kenya and I am living in Tanzania. Maybe my passport has expired, and maybe the emergency that has happened, maybe I'm expected there maybe in 24 hours. Maybe now, look at this. I'm going to the cyber maybe, or to the immigration office. I'm going to inquire for a passport. I'm going to do all the things. So how much time will I consume? How much time will I use so that I can be able to get that permit to get into that country? Maybe what I had been called for may already have happened. Maybe it was a medical issue. Maybe my blood was the only blood to be transfused to that patient. So how? We would have lost our life. Please, please join us. Look on this side. try to reason. Try to reason. If we reason like this, maybe we are going to take this East Africa region far. Maybe if you take an example with this, maybe United Arab Emirates, look at, when we look at Europe, you see
we're not getting. You're not getting you. Hello. We are not getting you kindly. Hello. Eh? The speaker from Mukumu, we are not getting you. We are not getting you kindly. The second speaker. We are not getting you. Eh? We are not getting what you're saying. We ain't getting what you're saying, so it means it seems they're not even getting what I'm saying too. Mukumu boys. Mukumu boys. Hey. Hello. Hey. Hello. Hello. I don't know what to do. We are not getting you kindly. We are not getting you.
Yes, now.
Yeah, we are not. I can give you from somewhere. You're use your time and left. You are left with 2 minutes, so I'll give you 2 minutes. Kindly reiterate or repeat the points you're making towards your conclusion. Kindly.
okay. My third point was that this, by opening this, you want to this freedom to an individual get a better. I mean that maybe if I am a Kenyan citizen and there is a job that I have a special maybe qualification on that is being offered in Tanzania, I may accept it and maybe I may access it very, very, very clearly. And also maybe same case applies to the other countries in East Africa. So this will give an individual a chance to the global job market. My other point is maybe an emergency may arise, and that emergency maybe it's on related to health issues. Maybe there is a patient that I am to give to transfuse my blood to him or her. That maybe if I may not be there in maybe let's say 12 hours, the patient may have lost his or her life. So the time that I will use at the immigration office to be safe. But now restriction patient in a very bad this will enhance those people migrating into other countries without permissions. Maybe you may say the refugees. The refugees may come maybe from Kenya to Tanzania. They may set their camp there, and the Tanzanian nation is the one that is supposed to give maybe food to them, get all the needs for them. But at least if we try to open this, it will be just free for us. The boundaries, if they are not there, everything will be smooth. Maybe I will be able to access Kenya. I'll be able to access Tanzania. I'll be able to access Uganda. And also, this means if I had lost all my documents. I will easily
Thank
go
you.
back. But now maybe I've come and I've lost my documents. Now I will be forced to be a refugee in that country. And there is a way I'll be treated that I will not appreciate as a citizen. So
Thank you. Time is up.
members, we create peace, cohesion, at least bring the job opportunities from Kenya, Tanzania,
Your time is
years,
up.
and come up with an efficient solution. With those few remarks, I rest my case there.
Thank you. Second opposer. There's an echo on your side. Kindly check on that. And then Mukumu boys through Calvin. Let us mute. Okay, second opposer. I'm not getting what you're saying. I am not getting what you're saying. Hello? Hello, I am not getting what you're saying. Hello? St. Thomas? I cannot get anything from you. I'm not getting what you're saying. I'm just seeing you speak, but I'm not getting what you're saying.
No, okay.
I'm now getting. I'm now. You are.
Speak. What about now?
I'm getting. Begin now.
I can't.
Are you getting what? Are you getting me?
But the immigration department has to applied before parameters. This in Kenya, we have over 10 million people. Over I have the yellow fever vaccination that you need to vaccinate so you can get into another country. If you consider this document earlier, you don't need to get late or maybe even got even. Parameters. My first parameter would be illegal business. Why do I say illegal business? There is people from other countries coming into our country and taking the innocent children and taking out their organs and selling out to another country. That is illegal business. If we protect them and even get the documents from them before coming into our country, this will be protecting our lives and also their own life. To my second parameters, it's about health. I want to talk about the yellow fever. We need this vaccination before coming into another country. This vaccination prevents you from getting sick. So if you get the vaccination earlier, prevents you from getting sick, and you can walk into a country while knowing that you're well vaccinated and you're prevented. So I think you should board a bus and come to Kilifi and join us to be the opposers. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the second opposer. We go to the third proposer, Mukumu boys.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. So it's glad to hear from my sister trying to convince me with something that is sort of rumors. How is she saying that vaccination prevents one from getting sick? Because she has a yellow fever vaccination card. Does it mean that you only get sick, that in your lifetime you only get sick of the yellow fever? Kindly rectify on that. We've heard from my fellow members of parliament. They've given you very vivid points, but it seems you're getting too much rigid. You can't take them. But why? Let's talk as patriotic citizens of Kenya. No need of closing these boundaries, yet we claim to restore the legacy that was brought about by our freedom fighters of the respective countries. Let's talk of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Let's talk of Tanzania, Mwalimu Nyerere. Let's talk of Obote and many others. They came together to bring about unity within the countries. I don't see the reason or the cause of finally creating borders and boundaries between the nations. Yet the friendship of the countries began even before we were brought about in this world. On to my first point, before I enforce to a point given by my fellow colleague. Recently, when our President of the Republic was inaugurated, one of the first things that he did was traveling to Eritrea. Mwalimu William Samoei Ruto traveled to Eritrea because of major reasons. Number one, for business partnership between Kenya and Eritrea. That one is to bring about the cohesion that my colleague has just talked about. Number two, to bring about peace within the countries. These countries, we find that Eritrea having more of Arabians, there is not that great cohesion between the countries. But this man has gone to Eritrea to enforce this peace and unity between the countries. So I don't see the need of making our own president effort futile, yet because of very small reasons like yellow fever and sort of things. Those are petty reasons that cannot make us close the borders because of such cases. Number two, we as members of East Africa, we sing every Monday and every Friday. We sing our East Africa anthem. We sing with patriotism. But now I come to realize that you're just pretenders, because you're not implementing what the song is trying to convey, the messages being given in the song. Let's work in partnership as East Africa community. Let's not bring about something that will cause disunity, that will cause boundaries between the countries, that will bring about the differences. Let's be thinking of one thing as a country, as countries, and as community, and as the region of East Africa. We're talking of, my colleague talked of peace and unity being brought about. We're talking of the same reasons why our fellow students can walk around the countries. They can go to adventure on other countries. This shows a good picture that can be portrayed by other nations, not necessarily from the East Africa community. But now, you're trying to come and you're trying to tell us that we should stop this by keeping the boundaries. What is that so special that you don't want other members from other East Africa nations to see from your country? Come on, let's come.
Thank you.
Okay, so with the few remarks, I rest my case. and humbly request that you may join us, because it seems you don't have vivid and open proofs for what you are trying to tell us. Thank you. I rest my case.
Okay, now we go to the third opposer, that is from St. Thomas. As Mukumu boys mute their mic, thank you. Third opposer. Third opposer from St. Thomas.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. I would like to remind you all that this is a peace debate. We are here to make peace, and I'm very sure that the movement is not the only way of making peace. What is peace? According to what you've said, actually, the main basis that you've given us is that freedom of movement across our boundaries is it the only way of realizing peace? Your guess is as good as mine. It's not. We're having an online peace debate over here. Are we not on good terms? We are. So basically, your point has basically evaporated. It's hot air. So that one, I think you should do more research on it because it doesn't click anything. But thank you for that. Right now, we're having a Google, as I said, we're having a Google debate. No movement has taken place, but we're still on good terms and we're still encouraging and enhancing peace through, as you said, the first speaker said it himself, a peace debate club. I don't know why you're forgetting that, but please check on your points. One of the causes of insecurity and economic instability within our East African regions, which reminds me, my dear brothers, you've basically been basing all your points on Tanzania. Are you not aware that Tanzania is not the only East African country? Why are you not involving the other countries? And I would like to believe that you guys took social studies in primary. Eritrea is not, I would like to inform you that it is not part of the East African countries. Kindly do not confuse emotion. Denied, I'm protecting my time. Patriotism is better, prevention is better than cure. Terrorism and the outbreak of diseases such as Ebola, we were not only specifying on yellow fever. We have other diseases such as Ebola. We have COVID-19 and very many infectious diseases that can spread. Kindly, as you know, that the mind is a parachute. It only works when it's open. Kindly expand your thinking. Also, I would like to say that we are not banning movement. We are simply restricting it by regulations. So on to my first parameter. Let me make it clear on what the opposite side. Your first speaker, Latifa, talked about tourism, discrimination, health insecurity, and illegal businesses. This principle you mentioned here is very dangerous to us. Do you actually know the meaning of free and not controlled? Free and not controlled. How do you allow someone to just freely enter your country? Plus, you must be thinking of the rates of employment. As a country in Kenya already, I believe, there is already scarcity of job employment. And what happens when you allow these people to come into our country? You are putting our own citizens, our dear mothers and fathers and fellow sisters and brothers at a greater risk, because our country, our economy that is already suffering will have to bear the losses and the responsibility of giving these the tourists a job opportunity. Kindly think of yourself first before you go to others.
Point of information.
Also, think of neocolonialism. What happens when these people come into our countries and take over our economies? You'll find out that in the government, according to what you're suggesting on the freedom of movement and everything, tourists than the natural inhabitants. Is that what you are suggesting? Are you finding a way of basically enslaving your own people and making them feel, how do I put it in a nice way? Making them feel enclosed within their own boundaries that, as you mentioned, our forefathers and our great leaders fought and shed blood for freedom. So it is ideal to close up on the borders of the 6 African countries, not close them exactly, but to restrict with the good registration. Plus, we are also suggesting as the Peace Club that the passport should not only be the document, also the birth certificate. I believe everyone who is born in Kenya has a birth certificate. I believe you also have a birth certificate. So the point that the second speaker gave out was actually contradicting himself and favoring my first speaker, because you said that you had a sick child and whatnot, and a fantasy mistake. So all that, if you had the right documentation, kindly respect my time. If you had the right documentation, all that time that you are supposing and assuming would be lost would not actually be lost, because you actually follow the rules and the regulations. So plus you were saying that you get to meet new people that you don't know. Did you hear yourself talk? You are meeting people that you do not know, and you got into that country with no regulations and no guidelines. This is life, not a textbook. You don't get an introduction, and you don't get introduction and a guideline.
Thank you.
Get murdered in cold blood. So as the third speaker from St. Thomas Girls, our final resolution is that we do not close the boundaries, but restrict and regulate the movement. Thank you.
Okay, we now go to the replay speeches, and we have the first replay speech from St. Thomas. Those are the opposers. 2 minutes.
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Entry and exit points within the East African countries play vital roles in the social, economic, and political growth. And thus, there is need of restrictions. Lifting all restrictions can be very harmful to the 6 countries. If need for movement, it is a must to be restricted. We think we have won this motion because of the following parameters. We have discrimination, health, functions of the immigration department, insecurity, illegal businesses, control of price and commodities. When your first speaker was talking about this country, he was only mentioning about Tanzania. As my second speaker had stated, he was only focusing on Tanzania and forgotten about the other 6 countries. These are Rwanda, South Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, and Burundi. So he had forgotten about them. They had also concentrated on one border, and we have more borders like the Gatuna border, the Taveta border, and some other more borders. So we stated our 6 parameters well, and I feel like we have explained them perfectly. And also, your speakers had failed to explain their parameters a little bit well, and we feel like we have won this motion because of when I was talking about discrimination, I mentioned that if we allow African citizens to be coming to our border freely, it will be unfair to the other countries. We must consider them too. They also help us. In conclusion, I would like to say that it was a really great debate, but we think we have won this, and we are here to enhance peace. Thank you.
Okay, the replay speech from the proposition side, 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Andrew Sande from the proposition team. So I would like to tell you first, before I give you my reply speech, that South Sudan is not a member of East Africa. So please do your research keenly. And another thing is that my friend here gave an example with Eritrea. He did not mention that Eritrea is one of the East African members. So please set your ear well. And also, it was just an example. So we said the point as follows. We talked about peace and cohesion. We talked about job opportunities. You're not even putting them into consideration. Regional integration, we also talked about it, but you are not even thinking. So we also talked about the emergencies that may arise. We also talked about the cost of processing whatever you are talking about, say the yellow fevers that you are emphasizing, maybe your first speaker, the way she was saying, and your second speaker. So here, we are here not to argue. You're not here to judge us. We are here to debate. We are here to bring at least that's a solution to this issue. You're not to judge us. Please consider that
Point of
we are
information.
Point of information.
no rejected.
We do not have points of information on the replay speech. Yes.
Okay, we also talked about the. Okay, beside that, wherever we have said, my friend here talked about a very strong point that you misinterpreted it, and you also talked about it here that you even denied us a chance to give you a rebuttal because we want to give it efficiently. So, my friends, just sit back, just accept that this motion should be accepted. This House should accept this opinion of East African citizens. We are citizens of East Africa, and we have to live in unity, in peace, and in cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to be very brief, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for the good work you've done. And I hope you can get me. I hope everybody is getting what I'm saying. Can I get a thumbs up from both schools? Mukumu boys, a thumbs up. Mukumu go. Yeah, okay. So you're getting what I'm saying, and I've said I want to congratulate all of you for the good work you're doing. I want to urge you to continue with the same spirit, and debate takes you places. I want to congratulate each and every person who took their time to debate, because you are future great leaders, and the world is yours to conquer. I want to correct one or two things. One is let us get our facts right. Let us get our facts right. And I like the confidence, but somebody comes and refutes something that is factual with a very good command of language, until you might think they're saying the truth. Another distinction is in line with us getting our facts right. If we're talking about East Africa, we are supposed to know that East Africa can be looked at in two dimensions. That is the Eastern Africa and East Africa, which some of us in our submissions, I will just single out one. You refute a country is not part of East Africa, yet it is part and parcel of East Africa, but it is not part of the Eastern. It is not part of the Eastern Africa, but it is part of the larger East Africa. I will give marks according to each speaker. And one, I will note that apart from Andrew, who gave us the name when he was giving his replay speech, I did not get a name of any other speaker. So even when I was giving you marks, I had to award marks according to your position of speaking. I have first speaker, second speaker, third speaker, but at least a speaker from Mukumu called Andrew came and said he's called Andrew only when he was giving the replay speech. But when he was giving the main submissions, he did not remember to give us the name. So whenever you're debating anywhere, ensure, even if you want to start with a proverb, even if you want to start with a song, after each and everything, or at the end of your presentation, make sure you give us your name. So I will start with the first speaker. That was the first proposer. You're a very good speaker, but the pace, you spoke so fast that a person will not understand or get clearly what you're saying. You had good command of your language. You had good mastery of content, but the pace at which you were speaking was so fast. So if you check on that pace, you're going to be a very good speaker. The total marks that I was ranging per speaker was 75, and you had 50. The first opposer, you're a good speaker. You did not just manage your time well. You left the stage leaving us with 2 full minutes. You gave us 3 minutes of content, and the person who spoke before you gave us 5 minutes of content. So the time management was the only thing that was letting you down, and you need to check on that. So out of 75, you had 45. The second proposer, from Mukumu Boys, you're a very good speaker. You have good command of language. There's only one issue I had with you. As a proposer, you come after another speaker. You're supposed to counter, to cross-examine what the previous speaker said. And you offered little of cross-examination, though you came up with new points to build up your argument, which was so commendable. Out of 75, you had 48. The second opposer was a good speaker. Another issue with you is time management. You did not offer. You are the one who spoke the least time of the 6 speakers who spoke today, and that means that your preparation was I don't want to say inadequate, but kind of limited, and you need to check on that. 5 minutes for a person who has done enough research is a little time. So when you take the least time on stage, it means that the content that you had was not that adequate. Another thing I noticed is there were people giving you signals in the background. I could hear their sound, and then after they've said something, you repeat after them, and that is not something that can be. It was breaking your flow as a speaker. You had good mastery of language, but the person who was speaking behind you or somewhere giving you words to say was kind of breaking your flow. Out of 70, you had 40. The third proposer, from Mukumu Boys was a good speaker. You offered good points. You offered some little bit of cross-examination of what your opponent had said. You offered some bit of intimidation. We encourage positive intimidation that does not character assassinate. It just deals with the debate. And you offered that. Out of 75, you had 45. The third opposer generally was kind of the best speaker today. Very well composed. You offered enough adequate cross-examination of your opponent, and you were relaxed in your presentation, and somebody could follow your presentation. And you also had the ultimate breaks after a point. Somebody could see you transition from one point to another, and out of 75, you had 52. So that leads to the opposers having 46 and the proposers having 48. So Mukumu Boys have won the debate. And remember that we don't have winners or losers. We are all here to learn. We are all here to get better. We are all here to learn, and we are all here to get better. So I want us to get some reactions from the patrons, starting with the Mukumu Boys. The patron Mukumu Boys, give us your reaction. The patron Mukumu Boys. Kindly mute the account for Mukumu so that your patron can speak on this other account. Mute the other one for Mukumu so that your patron can say something. Let us mute this account from Mukumu. Mwalimu, I'd rather you use this other account because this one is not audible enough. So use this other one. Okay, welcome. Unmute kindly. Unmute.
Had proof of hands and we are proud of it.
Yes, I want to thank for some opportunity. We hope to have more of that competition. We appreciate you. We shall always be together with you. Thank you.
Thank you. We now get the patron from St. Thomas.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mr. Masaha from St. Thomas Girls. It was a nice event. We really appreciated. Though we had 2 Form 1s, but we feel they have really tried. We appreciate and we look forward to have more debates so that we can improve on the skills of these young, great debaters. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to appreciate and special appreciation to the Form 1s. That is so commendable of you. That is a great foot in. And I want to thank this for organizing everything. And the future is luminous for all of us. Let's keep on the positive vibes. And I want to wish you a successful week ahead. Thank you for creating time to join us. We will meet next time.
Thank you.
Hello, my friend. Hello. Hello. Are you there? Hello.